Hello Glossopdale students. In this study skills video, we will be looking at the effective use of flashcards, and in particular, we'll be looking at the Leitner method. So the Leitner method of using flashcards. Now, this is a really effective way of self-quizzing because you quiz yourself more often on the things that you do not know. So you would start off with one pile of flashcards. You would go through those flashcards, asking yourself the question and testing yourself on the answer. Now, if you have that answer correct, you would move your flashcard to box 2 or pile 2. You would go through your first pile of flashcards, and every time you got one correct, you would put them into box 2. Every time you got one wrong, you would put them back into box 1. Now, the next time that you quiz yourself, you would quiz yourself on all the contents of box 1 plus the contents of box 2. Now, you would follow the same procedure with the flashcards from box 1. Every time you got one correct, you would move it through into box 2. Now, your flashcards that were in box 2, if you got those correct, you would add them to box 3. If you got them incorrect, you would move them back to box 1. Now, box 1 is the pile that you would test yourself on every time. The flashcards that have moved from box 1 to box 2, you would test yourself on every other time. And the pile of flashcards that you've moved from box 2 to box 3, you would only test yourself on them every third time. Now, the important thing is, every time you get an answer wrong, you would move your flashcard back to box 1. So let's have a look at how that looks in practice. So you can see on the screen now that I have 3 boxes. Obviously, you don't have to do this in boxes. It can just be in piles, but it's a good place to store your flashcards. So you can see in box 1, I have my pile of flashcards. So I'm going to pick those up and I'm going to start self-testing. So my first question on my first flashcard is, what is a particle? Now I'm going to see if I can remember the answer. Now, a particle is a very tiny object, such as an atom or a molecule that is too small to be seen with a microscope. So I'm going to turn my card over and I'm going to double check my answer. I have that one correct, so my flashcard would move then into box 2. I would then go through the next card and double check. Have I got that question right? Yes, I have it right, so it's going to move back into box 2. Now I'll move on to the third card, go through the question, check the answer. Oh, unfortunately, I've got that one wrong. So I'm going to pop that one back into box 1. And so on. So we would then go through all the questions in our pile. Every time we've got one correct, we'd move it to box 2. Every time we've got one incorrect, we would move it back to box 1. Now, this is the second time that we're going to go through those flashcards. So I would pick up all of those from box 1 and I would go through those ones first. Now, every time I've got one correct, I am going to move it through to box 2. Anything that is incorrect, I would move it back to box 1. Then I would take everything from box 2. And again, I would go through those questions and answers. Anything that I've got right this third time, I would place in box 3. Now, anything that I got wrong that third time, I would pop it back into box 1. So I have those ones that were correct and these ones that were incorrect. And it's just the frequency of testing. So everything in box 1, I would test myself on every time. Everything in box 2, I would test every other time. And everything in box 3, I would test every third time. Thank you for listening.